The economic crisis in Sri Lanka has taken yet another turn for the worse. Government officials have ordered a fresh lockdown in the country, shutting down schools and suspending non-essential public services. But it's not because it's trying to prevent an infectious disease from spreading. The country is deliberately paralyzing its economy because it's run out of money, so it can't pay for fuel. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says instead of paying for petrol and diesel to put in cars and trucks, the country is saving its meager resources for food and medicine. Sri Lanka is currently in talks with the IMF for a potential bailout worth billions of dollars. But that money's contingent on reforms like higher taxes and spending cuts. And amid the misery, protesters have called for the president's resignation.
All the people are demanding that the president quit, holding him mainly responsible for the economic crisis.
What these children are asking for is a country where they can live in freedom. It is at a time when their parents have lost all hope, when the children have lost all hope of a bright future, that they are saying we don't want corrupt politicians. Gotabaya, you have failed. Go home.
Now, for more on the story, let's go to Professor Guido Cozzi. He teaches macroeconomics at the University of St. Gallen in Switzerland. Welcome back to the program, Professor. Now, a lot of anger towards the government in Sri Lanka. Can you tell us about what kind of policies those leaders have put in place that have contributed to this economic collapse, as they've admitted is happening?
Well, clearly, the bad management of the government budget is the most striking mistake. For example, the overall tax cuts, so the tax revenues and the government revenues declined massively. Of course, it was done with the intention of stimulating the economy just before the COVID crisis, but unfortunately then COVID aggravated the situation. So, but overall, the long-term mistake was to rely on low interest rates in order to boost infrastructure investment and economic growth from the demand side to unsustainable levels. They should have realized that they were surfing historically low interest rate wave that sooner or later would have become dangerous. And recently, only the interest payments on debt, on government debt, is absorbing almost all of the tax revenues.
So the key thing for the government now are these talks with the IMF. It's also hosting a donor conference with a handful of friendly countries. Just how much help can Sri Lanka expect to get from these talks?
Certainly they will help. These countries, these friendly countries, are important, like Japan, because Japan has more than 10% of Sri Lanka's debt. Also, the Asian Development Bank has it. So it is not just China, as many people think, but also Japan and the Asian Development Bank and the World Bank may contribute a lot. As I repeat, if the situation now is that almost all the tax revenues go to repaying interest on debt, can we imagine what may happen if the interest rates rise as they are predicted to rise? So it is important that the lenders of Sri Lanka try to do a moratorium or to support or help restructure debt, of course, with some conditions.
All right, Professor Guido Cozzi in Switzerland, thank you for helping explain the story for us.